Hey guys, it's Jake. So as most of you know from watching the videos over the course of the last several months, you know that I'm a fairly religious person. I go to church, I play the organ at church, I participate in church activities like festivals and whatnot, and anything else, like I just played a funeral yesterday. That being said, over the last couple of days I've taken a really big interest in something that you wouldn't normally associate with somebody who's religious. Paranormal things. No, I'm not talking about my sister, I'm talking about haunted things like ghosts and creepy things and haunted things. Speaking of my sister, she's really into that kind of paranormal stuff. She's gone on several ghost tours around the Gettysburg area and has tried to take visits to some places, but I don't think she's gotten into a lot of them. But nevertheless, she really is into this paranormal stuff more than I am, but whenever she starts talking about it, it really intrigues my mind for many reasons. One, being religious and believing in a life after death, heaven and hell, you would think, why are there still these spiritual entities around if they're dead? Why wouldn't they pass on to heaven or hell? And that kind of thing intrigues me. It makes me think. It makes everybody think, why does this happen? Now, regardless if you're a skeptic or not, there are things in this world that we cannot explain. Like, we can't explain death. We don't know what happens after we die. There are theories, and there are people who said that they've died and come back to life and have seen heaven or have seen hell or have seen whatever, but we still don't really know because we'd only experience it when we die. But it's the thing about the paranormal and ghosts and hauntings that just really intrigues me in a way that I'm almost afraid to say that I'm interested in it. Because being a God-fearing man and a God-worshipping man, I want to make sure that I'm not making myself too curious and opening myself up too much into these possibly evil entities. Now granted, I've never opened myself, and probably never will open myself up to any kind of paranormal thing. I've never done anything with a Ouija board. I've never taken part in a satanic ritual or a black mass, and I never ever plan on doing it because I don't think that would be very good for me. I don't think it's good for anybody, but at the same time, you have to agree that Satanism is a type of religion. It is really hard for me to admit that, but it is. And in this country, we are able to practice whatever our religious beliefs are, regardless if some of us believe them or not. I've also never really had any kind of ghostly experience, except for maybe that one time. This is kind of weird. I don't really know if this actually happened the way I thought it or not, but several years ago we were on vacation in New Jersey, staying at my dad's then boss's beach house. Well, it was kind of a beach house. It was near the beach, but it wasn't really on the beach. Anyway, my sister and I were sleeping in bunk beds in the side room. My parents were in another room down the hall. Now, sometimes right before I'm about to fall asleep, I will, for some reason, shake myself awake, kind of like I'm having a seizure, but I'm not having a seizure. But anyway, I was about to fall asleep, and something vividly shook the bed railing, so much so that I actually heard the wood of the beds knock together. And I turned to the side quick, and there was a large black mass that flew out of the room because the door was open, so it flew out of the room into the hallway. Now, as I got older, I kind of brushed that off as being nothing because I do tend to sometimes shake myself awake, but there's still the fact that I really did hear the wood of the beds move very vividly that night. Now, if you really want to know if I'm a skeptic or not, I really don't know what I am. But what I do know is that there are things in this world that we cannot explain through any means and probably never will be able to explain. And while that's hard for some of us to admit that we know we're not going to understand it, we just have to live with it and live with not knowing. Because just like dying, we don't know what's going to happen when we die. I kind of hope that I live eternally forever with the rest of my family that's up in heaven. No one really knows. And no one really will know until we die. Well, that's the gist of that. I gotta get to packing because I'm leaving for Ohio tomorrow. Mom, Dad, and Dana are already on their way to the airport to take her to LA for her fall semester, and lots of things are happening really quickly. So I gotta get going. I'll see you all on Friday with a composer profile. Take care.